August 3rd, 2021, and I am in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with an appropriate body of water behind me, since they have, 10,000 lakes supposedly here in the state of Minnesota. And fortunately today there is no need for anyone to mow the grass. Yesterday I had to cut the live short a little bit because of 3 men that came on the scene to start mowing the grass before, right before I started. So anyways, got all the time in the world to do our teaching today. It was interesting yesterday, had an issue with my battery apparently starting to die on my car. The original battery that I had on my Acura MDX since I got it a couple years ago. It's a 2015. And so when I went to start it, when I was leaving my hotel to drive from Iowa up to Minnesota, it did not want to crank the engine. So I had to get a AAA person to come out to get it to start, and then I drove it on up. And fortunately I prayed this morning that it would start, and it did, and I was able to drive it to a local dealership to get it fixed. So I've got a new battery, also have some new air filters to be able to breathe clean air. In fact, they've got a little bit of smoke in the air here in Minneapolis because of some of the fires, I guess, in Canada. So anyways, yes, I drive a lot of miles on my vehicle. It's basically, I live out of my vehicle for the most part. Of course, I stay in hotels when I travel, but anyway, I am thought I heard something behind me. I don't know. I don't think there's any alligators that they have here that can climb out of the pond. Might be a snake. I know they have snakes up here too. So anyways, so Breakthrough Tour this Saturday, August 7th, Minneapolis Marriott West. Is just a couple of miles from where I'm staying here in St. Louis Park, actually Minneapolis, but Minneapolis Marriott West at 7 p.m. So come on out for that. And then August 21st, which is 2 weeks from this Saturday, be in Chicago at the Chicago Marriott in Naperville, Illinois. September 25th, Greenville, South Carolina, Faith Family Church. October, looking to nail down the dates to come to Holiday, Florida, and Newport Richey, Florida, to a couple of churches there. October 31st, Cool Church in Houston, Texas. November 5th, November 6th, Walking in Freedom Ministries in Waco, Texas. And I'm looking to schedule some more as well. So on Facebook, I see we've got Tina Kirkpatrick, Tracy Campbell, and several others that are watching. And of course, I'm live also on YouTube for the YouTubers. All right, so topic of the day is everyone needs delivered in order to become an authentic Christian. And let me talk about what that really means. Obviously, it means to be a real Christian. And what does it mean to be a real Christian? What it really means is that you have the fruit of the Spirit in your life. We're not talking about works. We're talking about the fruit of the Spirit. Galatians 5:16 through 26. It talks about those who have the fruit of the flesh versus those who have the fruit of the Spirit. Those who have the fruit of the Spirit really behave like Jesus would behave. They have love in their hearts for people. They have joy. They have peace. They have patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. I keep hearing something moving behind me here. But they're a true Christian. A real Christian means that they really truly love their spouse. They don't treat them in a way that's inconsistent with being a Christian. They're not selfish, they're not jealous, they're not controlling, they're not manipulative. They treat their children the same way. You know, they are who they are before the camera, or before the church, as well as behind closed doors. Again, I am in Minneapolis, Minnesota, is where I'm broadcasting from right now. So, a real Christian really is the same deal, the real deal, before, Facebook and outside of Facebook. So those that know me, know that that's what that's what I am essentially. Is I will walk in the same behaviors as I do that I teach. I'm consistent with that. Those that are closest to me, they understand that, they see that. And didn't used to. I used to be like a lot of the Christians that would struggle, that would try to act like, we're all godly and all that. But then behind closed doors, we'd oftentimes go off on people. And, sexual purity is a good barometer. Are you healed and delivered? As well as walking in humility. There's a lot of people that are prideful, a lot of people that are jealous, a lot of people that lie, a lot of people that gossip, that are not the same, and they act like they're really sweet and nice, and they oftentimes want you to give money to them and play on your emotions, but then behind closed doors, they're a different person. And I've seen it. I've seen ministries, large ministries, people that you would know, that the people that are closest to them have told me they're not like that. They're mean behind closed doors. They are rude, and they are addicted to things that aren't godly. But then they show up in front of the crowd and they act like they're godly and so forth. So there needs to be consistency. The Lord looks upon the intentions of our heart. He looks upon our heart. Jeremiah 17:10 looks upon our mind. And if it's not the same, if those that are closest to us, those that are our spouse, and again, I'll say this, you can have a spouse that's not delivered. You can have a spouse that sees things through demonic eyes, and they're not healed and delivered yet, so they're going to lie. They're going to look at you in a way that's not consistent, that's not true. Hello to Mindy on YouTube. It's so fun to be on both Facebook and YouTube at the same time, by the way. I remember I used to always be on Facebook only, and then my assistant Tina would have to convert it to YouTube, so it's nice to be able to be on both. Of course, Facebook at times was being weird, so now that Facebook's being nice and normal. But it's great when you are healed and when you are delivered, you are the same person. But if you're not healed yet, let's say that you've been wounded and you were wounded deeply, then oftentimes you will trigger on people, and you will oftentimes think that you're in the right when you're in the wrong. You will think, that your spouse or other people are need to be yelled at, basically, or gone off on, and in reality, you're the one that's seeing things through, I'll just speak it, it's demonic eyes. Your eyes are your windows to your soul. And there's a lot of people that have been wounded and hurt, and they end up speaking from a false sense of reality. And we talked about that last week. So to become a true, real Christian, an authentic Christian, there needs to be healing. Healing from the wounds from your past and the demonic spirits that have had legal rights to attach to those wounds in your soul. Again, your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. So you can imagine, if you're not healed yet, and someone says something or does something that triggers you, then you're the one that's unfortunately in the wrong. But you may feel like you're in the right. You may feel justified for triggering and going off on a person. And I see it all the time, with people, and I hear about it all the time as well. I'll do sessions oftentimes for couples where you've got one person that have been hurt very, very, very deeply, and they get wounded a lot, and they go off and trigger and get mad and angry, and then they look at their spouse. They blame their spouse for everything because they're looking through these tainted glasses, tainted eyes of the pain and the wounds that have not been healed yet. So they look upon their spouse not doing everything that they want out of their control, their manipulation, and then they blame the spouse. And if I hear one side, and it's from a distorted side, a person normally that struggles more with the Jezebel spirit, Leviathan spirit, and if I believe that to be the truth, the true narrative, then I would be wrong. That's why when I do a counseling session / inner healing deliverance for couples, I can't believe everything that people say. So you have to see through that, and it's not easy. People that struggle more with the Jezebel spirit will try to get preferential treatment from those who are their counselor or their pastor. They'll try to have sidebar conversations about their spouse and try to convince them of their false narrative that they believe is truth when it's not. And so when a person gets healed and delivered, all it means is that they've forgiven truly all those who have hurt them from their past. You know, their fathers, their mothers, their stepfathers, stepmothers, the neighbors, boys that, or neighbor girls that have touched them or done sexual things to them. They've forgiven them and they've commanded the demons to go. And they're going to be calm. They're going to be peaceful. They're going to be walking in humility. Hello to Ishi Patrick from Washington, D.C. And what happens, in fact, I was talking to a very close friend yesterday about this, and it's so true. They were talking about how this person that had done deliverance and healing, how they behaved like very childlike. They had a lot of fun and laughter and joy, and they didn't take an offense over anything, and they enjoyed being outside, you know, in nature, next to ponds and creeks and streams and rivers and all kinds of outside things. But they would laugh a lot, they would have fun a lot, they wouldn't take an offense. You know, they were pure, sexually pure. And they were talking to me about this, saying, you know, they really could sense that in myself and in the ministry that we have. And I'm like, yeah, I noticed it. When I had gone through healing and deliverance, it's like I didn't behave the way that I did before. I had a lot of compassion for people, a lot of love for people, but I noticed that I was sexually pure. And I was like, wow, that feels good to be pure, to not have the ungodly desires that a lot of people would struggle with in being in church, not being healed and delivered, as well as a lot of childlike innocence, you know, laughter and fun. You know, you think about Jesus. Who did Jesus hang out with? Jesus hung out with the children because he had a lot of childlike innocence in him. So when a person is healed and delivered, you know, yes, they become an authentic Christian. They have the fruit of the Spirit in their lives, but they also have a lot of childlike innocence. They have a lot of fun. You know, what do children like to do? They like to go for walks. They like to play. They like to go on swings. You know, they don't have a desire to pursue things that an adult struggles with in being pure and godly. There's a lot of adults that think it's fun to drink alcohol to excess, to smoke cigarettes, to vape, to be sexually impure. You know, that's fun. That's an addiction. And that leads, ultimately, you know, sin leads to death, of course. And there's a lot of people that put these idols before the Lord and they don't have fun. Or they watch movies that have cuss words in them, or songs that have dirty lyrics. None of that stuff is truly going to bring a person peace, and it's not going to develop the fruit of the Spirit in their life. So anyway, many people, most people who attend church are struggling to have the fruit of the Spirit in their lives because ultimately they're hearing demons speaking to them in their thoughts, their mind. That's where the demons attack us the most. Yes, they attack us and give us sickness and disease, but they will largely attack your mind. And if they can get you to believe the lies that they're saying to you about your loved ones, about other people, and telling you that you are good, that everything that you do is right, everything that anybody else does that comes against you is wrong, that they're your enemy, when in reality, most of people that have, again, hearing demonic spirits, they're going to view people that are truly godly as their enemy. So they're distorted. You know, they'll also be pursuing sexual things that are not godly, focusing on themselves instead of others, and then having fun that's not fun. You know, going to places that don't lead to life. And, you know, everything should be in balance in your life. When you are an authentic Christian, real Christian, You're going to hear a lot of the Lord. You're going to hear a lot of from the Holy Spirit as well to guide and direct you. You say, hey, Nelson, don't be going there. Hey, Nelson, don't be looking at that. Hey, Nelson, you know, you're working out at the gym. Don't be looking at people from the opposite sex and lusting. You know, there's things that people that aren't healed and delivered will do that will bring and lead to death. And then there's a lot of people that are not healed, not delivered, that are in positions. What is that? I know that they were doing some construction earlier. Either that's construction or it's a very loud woodpecker here in the state of Minnesota. Oh my goodness. If it's not mowing the grass, then it's something else. Isn't it interesting? Seems like a lot of times places I go, I try to go to where there's peaceful places. And then all of a sudden, bam, it's, I think, symbolic. You think about it. When you are pursuing inner healing and deliverance, what happens? You normally have a lot more peace, a lot more thoughts from the Lord. But occasionally, you may get a thought from the enemy. You may get a thought from someone that calls themselves a Christian, that accuses you of something, that lies about you, that really hurts. And they want to cause you to lose your peace, get angry, be bitter, things that aren't good. So let me read Galatians 5:16-26. I love it. Again, I don't hear too many pastors that tend to read Galatians 5:16-26, and they should, because it really talks about those who are not